in 2012. It was always the same story. In fact, it was always posted like this to me on a table. Upon every release concerning the truth, the lies, the government psychiatrists, psychologists' lies, and stuff like that, my mother would follow up on me and would post what used to be every time newspapers like this one here known as Slovenska Novice, but the whole entire newspaper, you cannot find anything else than crime, 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 crime. And she would post like this every time with touchy subjects whenever I would release a video. This time, however, she have chosen this one here, which is Pod the X, translated means road into unknown. And here we have the two gentlemen here posing with not known. Just as if we have something going on. Just as if we had something going on, and it's not only for crime. Crime, 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 crime. That's all there is. See, this is how psychiatry works. Just letting you know about that. Again, March the 23rd, 2012. Or day after. Day after my posting online this video, titled under Part 79, Mind Control 2 of 3. So every time I would post new stuff concerning psychiatrists, psychologists, government involvement on behalf of the family as well, or family involvement in crime against me for government, the news is the one you have seen would follow up.
Welcome to part 80, titled as Mind Control 3 out of 3. This is the third edition. If you have not, you should have seen previous videos titled on Mind Control as per part 79 and part 78, and even how to properly reject citizenship, or what is part 77. The three videos are related to this one, and I deem how you should see those first before continuing with this one. However, today is, I already welcomed you, I will welcome you again. It's March the 23rd, 2012. And just before I continue with this video, which is already my 81th video, a quick reminder how during abductions which have taken place since '98 on several occasions, government have also recorded me. Government have video recorded me, obviously with anticipation to blend their news or lie with my own videos. I do not get any other explanation for their recordings other than to attempting to misguide, to lie about what truly have taken place, and would therefore remind you of you're paying attention to what you watch, because their news could, as well as mine, easily blend with my videos. The difference between my physical appearance and which have taken place in McCullough procedures, however, I deem to be quite considerable. The glasses which you can see here were, for one thing, different. Second thing that was different was my skin coloration. It was much darker. This is pretty much how I looked back then. And another thing, all through the girl that was involved in this McCullough procedure on one occasion, she did pay attention to my haircut as well. However, haircut was more messy, was different. I do not believe it was like this. The question is what she have managed to create out of one. Anyhow, you should pay attention to what you're watching. First of all, psychology, psychiatry, the employees, workers, psychiatrists, psychologists are nothing else than first line of government administration. If you want overlook over the population, over general population, but it's much more than that. These are the people that actually decide who will be, what will be or not, and it starts since our birth until we perish from this world. Pretty much their job is to design our life patterns and then follow up on us to accomplish whatever is convenient per system. It's how I would describe them as best way. They are government administration, that primary first line that even comes before police or intelligence services, whatever you may want to call that. However, you may want to keep in mind that other services pretty much work hand in hand with psychiatry, psychology. Therefore, that first line of government administration over the broad population. This is exact definition per psychiatry, psychology. What is it all about? It's nothing unusual. Many people fear to even mention or hear this word psychiatry, psychology, and are just electrified, horrified when they hear one, and it's reasonable because pretty much of what have taken place in the past, and this 70-year news, this lie where we live, was extremely violent. As I have already previously mentioned, this involvement of the psychiatrist, psychologist was really damaging for white population worldwide. To best explain violent world of lies, or what is psychiatry, in my personal case, I will state first what is truth, and secondary will example you with few McCullough procedures which have taken place against me, on what will detail you per why system anticipated them and how one would profit with it. Concerning the truth, one equals to chaotic situation in post-World War Yugoslavia when I first entered kindergarten, and then it was no different throughout elementary. And I have in my mind in particular what was physical and mental abuse, of which I would expose foremost daily physical beatings, and what have gone in extreme to even what were forced vaccinations used to retard child mentally and physically from developing to her full potential. Then sometimes at age 12, this Slovenian, pro-Yugoslav, pro-Serbian, pro-Russian, pro-Slavic communist regime have arranged compulsory meeting with 2 kids from Norway, the meeting which the system anticipated would be used to cover up past and future genocide against me, and was referred and have referred to one as per a white nationalism issues. So they wanted me to forget about, as they stated, well, you're not going to know anything about what have happened to you anymore. It's going to be completely different. Oh, it's not going to be anymore about this and that. You guys not going to know anymore who you are, where you are coming from. It's all going to get like this, and it's going to be just big Yugoslavia, Russia. It's going to be all like this, and nobody's going to know anything about. In other words, they wanted me simply to forget about what the system have done to me since the kindergarten days, and then throughout elementary up to age 12, and impose the culture that was completely non-interesting to me. And I have in my mind what is the skinhead culture. They have insisted and raped on this issue. They have insisted on how I should just shave my head and start with this skinhead music, with this banging music, and just be disinterested in wife, kids, prosperity, and so on, and just think about other things. You don't need the job. You don't need anything. All you need to do is you need the crime. That's all you need. And it was not difficult for me to figure out that shaved hair is actually really makes you look strange. It isolates you from society. It will cause you a cold. This banging music was more than anything dementia. The whole thing didn't have absolutely anything to do with myself. I find it amazing that it was suggested from teachers alone, and later on even at what was workforce employment agency here in Novo Mesto, where I didn't have anything to do, and that's why I have immigrated. Why is it that I never swallowed this garbage, this lies, this scam from this communist, Slovenian, pro-Serbian, pro-Yugoslav, pro-Russian, pro-Slavic scum? I did not swallow them because the system at the same time could not hide from me what was this honest rage, anger against me that was like in madness. So I had kids literally coming in my face and pointing like this with a finger, how I'm gonna be, pushing me like this with a finger in my forehead, how I'm gonna be lobotomized. It's gonna be lobotomized. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Beatings never stopped. Beatings continued to go on until sometimes age 16 or so, when I was pretty much told in front of the class that it's okay to stop with daily beatings, with all the abuse, because there's been so much abuse basically performed on me, so much violence, according to this teachers, to these gangsters, to these criminals, that I would definitely not be capable to drive throughout my life any longer. So that was pretty much issue on the white nationalism. And when it comes to white nationalism, the only thing that I want to mention as well, this Russian, this Yugoslav, this Serbian, Slovenian communist scum that claims that they are involved in this white nationalism, and they have feelings, and they feel something for these Boer people in South Africa and so on. I just want to tell you that throughout all these years, we were brainwashed, and I mean again with anger, with madness, from this communist teachers on how it is apartheid, how they are no different from Germans. In German, we were brainwashed on German issue with a hatred against Germans on daily basis. Okay, and so I want to mention to you, when it comes to this Boer people, how we were brainwashed, how they are no different from Germans, how they simply they're a threat, they're how they're mistreating Negroes, and how they are, and they were basically using them to point them against as if they are evil, if they are I don't know, talking about the Satan. It's like something that has to be destroyed, something that has to be ruined. The parallel to that, the Soviet Union basically threatened to the West with use of nuclear weapons if apartheid would not be disbanded and so on. So we had in the school, we had literally teachers telling us something that totally differed from that white nationalism, that white nationalism worldwide, just with the Slavs, with the Slavic people, this is just a lie. It's just a bogus. It's a lie. A regular lie is what it is. The kit that was used for this meeting, that took me to this meeting with his Norwegian kids, his brother is a hardcore communist. You're talking about Gregor Golovic, extremist, extreme communist, extreme pro-Serbian, pro-Yugoslav, pro-Russian material is what we are talking about. I don't know what else to say about that. That pretty much tells about everything. His brother, if true, did completed the school for psychologists or psychiatrists, and it's exactly what the system is using. System is using systematically people that are either mixed with our natives from here, or at least somewhat resemble European. While in order to cover up or I should say the truth about the system itself. That's all there is to it. Helle Berklund, as I mentioned, did become a psychologist, and he followed up on me. And I was not lobotomized. I was not lobotomized, as lobotomized, but gee. As I have already stated in previous videos, I was abducted, forcefully implanted with electrodes, experimented on, butchered on, implanted chips, left with a permanent, perhaps, or it's just a chip, I don't know what it's all about, but huge disability issue for me these days. I'm not even capable to exercise. I'm not capable to do absolutely anything. I don't know. If you want to kill the person, if you want to kill the individual, I think that there's no better way to do it than this. I think that we have really steps we're talking about. Denial of the right to work, denial of the right to education, denial of the right to just about absolutely everything in the name of some sort of white nationalism? Are you serious about that? I mean, if you would have done the same thing to everyone, if you would have set an employment agency to everyone that have to become a skinhead or whatever, I would say fine. I wouldn't mind at all. But we are talking about selectively, pre-selectively, selecting victims, targeted victims in order to destroy them. And that's exactly what I'm referring to. This is not white nationalism. This is an ethnic cleansing. This is what it is. It's an ethnic cleansing. And this is why I'm not going to go along with it.
Standing in the hallway of my parents, in parentheses parents' house in so-called Slovenia. This is a door hallway, and it's my room right there, and next to one there is a father's room, and then there is a mother's room. So the 3 rooms are like this, one next to another. One more time. My room, father's room, and mother's room. The 2 sleep separately. Anyhow, in a door hallway, to explain McCullough procedure concerning severe intimidation that involved police officers literally accompanying me, compelling me to stand up right here in front of this room of mine, on what I would have a father, and again in parenthesis, a father, passing through the hallway, through this hallway, and as he would pass next to one, he would enter inside of the room. He would enter inside of his room, okay? His room is right behind mine, yes? On what police officers would simply invite me back inside of my room, right on this bed, very bed here. They would sit next to me, and what they would do is they would begin to ask me, what do I think the father is doing in the room next to mine? And I didn't care about it at all. I really didn't care about what the father was doing inside of his room. I didn't care at all. I mind my own business. And it took quite a time for me to actually, you just simply you reject anything that would suggest how he is doing something that would potentially cause harm to me. So I have continually rejected to have anything to do with him or with the police on what they have posed me, again, right here in front of this door, and they would have him pass by, and he would begin to push into me, and I was like, well, first of all, under McCullough procedure, you are entirely working with subconscious. You are all drugged up, or whatever they have done to me. Second of all, I think that as an individual, that I was by far the most patient, polite, and willing to assist individual victim that was against whom it was conducted, this procedure. Therefore, I did not object or rebel in any way at all. And at first, I did not understand at all what this was all about until he started to push me, and he pushed me more, and so on, until I have started to say, hey, listen, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I started to, I wanted to push him back. I said, what are you? In that moment, police intervened, and it was, they literally grab you and take you inside of the room, and they repeat the position, the same situation, over and over and over and over and over again. Therefore, it is a brainwashing, violent brainwashing. And in this situation, they were trying to turn me into thinking how father is basically doing something in his room that I should know of, that he's doing something against me, but also in situation that could evolve in this situation as I am right now into, let's say, physical confrontation easily. And yeah, he would literally go and he would enter in this room, inside in his room. He would be inside of the room, in and out, in and out, in and out. Well, they would have me watch this, and occasionally start to shovel on what, if I would return back and try to shovel him or whatever, push him back, the police would intervene and take me inside of the room and so on. Literally a ridiculous situation. I'm talking about a ridiculous situation. I'm talking about literally having police officers here creating a paradox situations that could either terrorize individual to the point that he would not even think about complaining, or discourage individual from complaining with that he would simply subdue himself to the terror and crime which I have experienced afterwards. Because my parents are everything but nice. Okay, last year since I have returned here in November 2010 is a little bit different, because I have made them clear that I'm not going to take any shit from them. However, in 2006, 2007, 2008, these people who literally physically assaulted me with the idea that I was already so discouraged, so destroyed emotionally, and everything that America have done against me, that I would simply lay down and they could basically do anything they want to do with me. And I have in my mind, besides physical abuse, also foremost or anything what is verbal abuse. Verbal suggestions on how to, how you handle individual, how you can really sweep the floor with him. What else? This could apply, well, when complaining and working in my little room here, basically writing complaints on my laptop, working nights here, working hard to progress my complaints, as I have mentioned. I have had father literally doing that very same procedure, and he would go inside, but would enter inside like this. Therefore, he would be using this door to press them down, to press the hook down. Yes? Kaja?
Mēs vidite botale od 1. maja naprej ta in to sranje nehalo.
Okay.
Ker ne bo več interneta.
Okay. Lahko greš zdaj.
Od 1. maja
Lahko greš. Ja. On what he would simply out, in and out, he would enter, and he used to repeat that procedure. He would repeat that procedure daily. I'm going to say on several occasions, whenever I would work on my computer, try to progress my things, that's exactly what he would do. Boom. Blasting TV and entering in and out. And then he would stay inside of that room for like 10-15 minutes on what he would walk out. And when he walked out, it's like I stated, he doesn't walk like a normal person walk, like you walk. But he is dragging his shoes, sliding them on floor, so it's creating special noise. So you would know that he is in, that he is out, and he is in, he is out. To best imitate his walk, I will use my shoes. I will not wear them entirely, but just place my foot in it. That's all, like this. So therefore it's out, because this is how he wears his slippers. And then he would walk like this, literally dragging them on the floor. On what, not normal, like normal person would do that, but literally like this. And here's another specialty. He has basically to use heel, okay, to do this, to create this all the time. So basically, inside of his room, he would make sounds occasionally, like this, stuff like this. Do you know why this is so extremely bothering fact to me? Especially, not only because of what police have done to me, not only because of the situation they have attempted to create. Because if I would if I would start any kind of arguments, if we would start like real arguments here, I would definitely end up in the jail. And that promotion of mine, the complaint that I was talking to you, that how I was working on it, writing about, this is exactly what the police have anticipated. Any violent reaction from me was more than desired. Anything that you would have done that would give them the opportunity to go against me, it would be done in a split of a second. You would be finished, they would delete me before you even know. This is how police have anticipated they could trigger some sort of reaction. But it was much more than that. I have already mentioned on my blogs, under my complaint, on my blogs, how this door, from my room, this door, this very door here, look, you hear this? Look, it does not close more than this. And I want you to see that. See this? It only closes up to this point. See this? Like this. Then you have to really push like this. And you still, this is how you close them. And when you open them, it causes the noise. Now, it's true what you have seen, or the blasting TV, when father is blasting one throughout the house in order to annoy, in order to provocate, in order to cause dementia, in order to drive everybody nuts. It is true, because he claims that he cannot hear, and the door from the room has got to be open when he is blasting the TV, so according to him he can breathe, because he claims to have bronchitis, asthma and so on, and because of those diseases, that huge room, which is 6.5 meters by 2.5 meters height and 4 meters wide, or something like that, huge room, he claims not to have enough air and it's got to be open. But anyhow, if we go back to that, as much as he is not capable, okay, as much as he is not capable to hear the TV and the TV's got a blast, he would repeatedly beat me up, physically abuse me. I'm going to say until age 16 or something like that, he would, like this, he would wake up in his, he would jump from his bed, from that bed right there. Well, what he would run to in front of my room and would either yell on me like using the words, I was just about everything possible except for human. I was criminal, I was gangster, I was son of a bitch, I was doing this deliberately according to him, I was just doing that to him, deliberately molesting him, and so on and so on. It was just really, it's how he pursued me, as an evil, okay? Therefore, do you see this here? These are the doors that my parents have actually destroyed. So they were able to use this very door in the name of the violence against me. Okay? And then at the same time, the door that is completely functional and doesn't have any problem from opening without the noise, creating the noise. One would be repeatedly used like this, to be open like this. And the door, you can also see how they lean, how they're installed. You can see here that they aren't really closing entirely, but there is an opening here. Like you can squeeze the finger in between, and then that is reduced. Same thing comes to these doors here, as I mentioned. So, you know what? Considering these factors, this is a pretty serious bullying. To get physically beaten up by the gangster, by the real criminal, by the real gangster, what my father is, while you would have to quietly try to go inside of your room, on what he would jump every time out of his bed. On every occasion you would enter or exit the room to literally attack you physically or verbally abuse you. that's how I see this as a very, very, very serious crime. So yeah, this police McAllister procedure that was anticipated, how one would trigger here either some sort of physical confrontation or something that would give police and him, I don't know, either guardianship over me, legal guardianship over me, or simply to start a legal procedure that they could use against me, because that's how it is. That's pretty much one McAllister procedure that was used against me, and exactly how it was anticipated would benefit them. If we go to another McAllister procedure, and you were present, I'm going to close this door. Okay, here, this is my room. We're still in the hallway, and right across my room is a bathroom here, okay? Like this. And then I have already shown you what have taken place against me. When they had the bulldozers and everything running back and forth and creating a noise, annoying me with those machines and so on. Well, this here, this particular job was well anticipated in advance. Previously mentioned police officers, and I have in my mind here the neighbors also, have with McAllister procedures literally had me sit on this very toilet right here, for hours when abducted, on what they would, there was a job, a work that was getting done, not too far from here, just a block away from here. They were doing the work, and what they would do is they would have this bulldozer literally to park right in front of the window on what this bulldozer would be idle like this for about maybe 2-3 hours or so. I don't know how long, but that was long. The period that they were forcing me to literally sit on this toilet here, on this very toilet here, until I said, well, why do we have to sit here? Because I was drugged up, under McAllister procedure, and I didn't mind to be here for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't know how long it was, until I said, you know what, I said, I don't feel good about it. Can we go to another room, please? And they would just, no, you have to stay here. Okay, so just stay maybe 10 more minutes, ask, well, can we go now? No, you have to stay. Why do I have to stay? Why do you, listen, but why do I have to stay here? Well, you just need to stay here, okay? Okay, but then you start to get enough after one hour, after like 2 hours having the bulldozer idling right here, outside of the window. You start to actually repulse, and that's exactly what these police officers, these criminals have anticipated. On one of the occasions when I was again compelled to sit at a computer desk with what was Helle Björklund, as she was present, and that exactly have taken place during 1998 abduction. She have actually taken me to mother and had a little talk with me. Basically have told me that, I will explain. Situation was such that from what I have understood and from what I have seen, from what I have heard them talking to one another, she have greatly reduced the amount of drugs on me. Prior to this meeting, she have had a little, even disagreements with others involved in this crime, and we're saying, hey, if you're going to reduce drugs so much, he's gonna wake up, and we're gonna have a real trouble. But the idea behind it all, why she reduced the drugs, let's go, I will take you to the room exactly where I had to swear in front of the mother, literally, how I have never seen Helle Björklund in this house, and if only I would dare to mention her, I would be immediately placed in a loony house, immediately and unconditionally. And also how this is a form of help only, how she's only assisting me, how she's helping me out, how I have to understand that she's only helping me out per the issues that I have experienced, as previously mentioned, when 12 years old. When this Helle Björklund visited Slovenia, and the system compulsory arranged meeting between me and her. And let's see exactly how this have happened. In this very room where the TV is, I was basically compelled. The mother seated on the chair, on the footstool, whatever that was, and I had to promise to Helle in front of the mother how we have never ever met, and especially nothing that she never ever was in this house, and if I would ever dare to mention anything about this, how I would be immediately placed in a loony house, unconditionally. I'm about to talk to you on my counter procedure, which was conducted against me in respect to very writing, per how I have in my mind pretty much the instructions, the government instructions on how to write complaint, what to write about, and so on, and this and that. Rather what to write not about. Okay, but since I was really resentful in that sense that they have abducted me without my permission and just engaged with severe violence against me with use of drugs, with all that stuff, and I have threatened them with complaint, with official complaint, with uncovering them in front of the entire world for what they do. They have actually, from what they were initially threats, okay, first I have had here what was a local politician, Gregor Golobic is his name, is a hardcore communist, the one I have mentioned previously to you, threatening me with, he was extremely agitated, angry, mad, enraged with me, on what one came up with idea how they will award me, how they will award me for writing all this stuff, and correctly to mention the amount of money according to Golovic in '98 when he stated me, it would be, according to him, as he stated, I believe it was like that he mentioned to me would be like $500,000, I think, something like this was exact amount that he, I believe that he discussed with me when I was entirely drugged up here on this chair with others, with the police officers, of which one was my friend, person from whom I thought was my friend, Simon Bartel. Pretty much Norwegians were present, and from the threats, from beatings and all that stuff, all of a sudden we started to talk about the money, how we would make the money, with my complaining about it, how I am going to be making the money, and therefore then they started to instruct me further on how to write the complaint. Of course, I hope that you do understand that their idea was everything but to teach me how to write a complaint, and therefore they have instructed me on certain locations which I would use, where to place the location of the blog itself, how I have to create thousands of blogs because the governments simply use some kind of system that prevents people from accessing your blogs and stuff like that. How I should specially put attention to Russia, to Moscow, how the Moscow is extremely place where I should definitely place all around the Moscow those locations of the blog, and the same should apply to what was I don't know, United States, Washington. The Norwegians, however, wanted to have, and Golovic insisted on that. Golovic, the communist Golovic, half Serbian Golovic, insisted my placing locations, blogs all over Norway, and that included places that were completely non-essential. And he actually stated and suggested how with clicking, with each click there is a certain net that is creating to this web space, and that actually creates accessibility for people. When they click, there are certain shortcuts created, and people that way easier access your blog. And the best, according to these people, would be to create on every few miles along the highways and stuff like that, post blogs along the major highways. The same stuff they have basically suggested wherever were underwater tunnels, and they have suggested me to place basically blogs on locations that on each side of the water, if you have the water and you have the cable crossing, which can be seen from the maps, you should definitely post on each side of the land location for the blog. That way it would have the accessibility to go through. And I was also instructed by this individual who portrayed himself as a friend of mine, Simon Bartel, how I should also place this blog locations along the highways, especially if the two highways intersect, how that should be placed in the corner and stuff like that. And that's a severe crime because it costed me, I'm going to say, a lot of time. And as unfamiliar as I was, and I still am with a computer, I'm a newbie, I didn't know about. The only thing I knew about was the time to complain about. And I have considered whatever I deemed it was smart for me to consider, and whatever was stupid, I simply did not consider. And considering the job, the work itself, as I'm a hard-working individual, I don't mind to do the job. I have taken my time to place all those blogs all over the world on as many locations as possible. I don't mind the hard work. As simple as this. I'm a hard worker. I like to work. I do the job, and this is how that stuff have happened. There was no bipolar disease. There was no schizophrenia or anything like that. The only thing that was and was a McCullough procedure conducted against me, and that's exactly what I will be talking to you further about the situation. From what were first local police officers that were used to molest, to compel me to sit at this very table. I was, during '98, I was abducted for 3 months and a half, and I'm going to tell you that I have spent in this room, this very same scam, quite many times. They have compelled me to sit and look at the computer and look at the locations, how they have chosen those locations. Laptop that was used belonged to It might have, I don't know to whom that laptop really belonged. It might have belonged, I don't know to whom. However, I mentioned laptop because on other occasion than this one, than the first one, the laptop was used literally from the school in Podgorje, in Slovenian language, rather, let's say, a little place here called Arateš, from the school, because the one who had provided a laptop on second or third or whatever occasion abduction have taken place, and the ones that were involved in it and were instructing me on how to complain were actually Americans. It was actually American government that was involved in this scam. And yeah, and my ex-instructor, his name is Moravec, have literally gone all the way to the school to get them this stupid laptop and bring one here, so I could be seated here again on these issues for what would take place and what I should write about, how I should write about, and what I should write about not. Basically, if I would write the stuff these people were talking to me about, I would write sheer lunacy. I would discredit myself so quickly that you don't even believe, is what I'm trying to tell you. They were creating also anxiety moments, okay? They were creating severe anxiety moments and were basically threatening me all along how I will be literally packed up and taken to the mental hospital, to the mental care, how at a certain point I will have to stop. It always came up to a certain point. They have done this to many other people, and I am referring to McCullough procedure. One particular procedure, however, the McCullough procedure that was used on many other people is what I'm trying to tell you. And are extremely worse in what the next step will be, 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 and they brainwash with different issues, with different possible outcomes, scenarios that they anticipate you would, something that would trigger you, that would pull you sideways, and you would actually bite and stop from complaining, or they have suggested me when they have literally opened the window here and had me listen from my sister that was coming, how when my sister is coming, that at one point she's just going to come with an ambulance vehicle, and that ambulance vehicle they're just going to jump out of it, and they're just going to grab me and take me to the loony house. Loony house always was the same thing. And I was repeated with that stuff. They literally brainwashed with that issue. That much on McCullough procedure concerning this computer room.
Now when I have showed you what McCullough procedures are and how the government is actually using those to target population, the different purposes for how one is used, more about the government crime, psychiatrists, psychologists' involvement in all this crime, or who creates one. I will talk to you about what a government psychiatrist, psychologists have suggested me to write about.
At this point, we have 9 years of hard scientific evidence that disproves the government theory about what happened on September 11th, and yet people continue to be either oblivious to the fact that this information exists or completely resistant to looking at this information. So the question becomes why? Why is it that people have so much trouble hearing this information? We know this had a very severe and traumatic impact on a large majority of the population. I myself cried for weeks after September 11th. A friend of mine who is a psychologist in practice here in Boulder said that her caseload increased tremendously after 9/11, and people that she hadn't seen in 10 years were coming back into her practice. So I think it's safe to say that collectively as a nation, because of what happened on September 11th, we experienced trauma.
In fact, the latest, what was in Norway in 2010, these gangsters, and again Helle Björklund amongst them, have suggested my writing the complaint about what have taken place against me pertaining to 9/11 and how basically have that emotionally depressed me, the psychological effect that had on me, and I don't know what else, stuff like that. Then they have further suggested my writing about electromagnetic use of weapons as a targeted individual. I should have written according to them about how I was pointed with electromagnetic weapons, what have caused me. They have suggested me, if you will, if I repeat their words, if you will experience some blood coming out of your ears, or if you will experience something under your eyes and stuff like that, like the one you see here, pretty much this, whatever you have seen in my previous videos I have had, if you will experience stuff like this, you will write about it. It is about electromagnetic weapons. We are using electromagnetic weapons on you. You will write about that. Is that right? You will write about that. No? Don't forget to write about this. Then they have further suggested me how the moon landing was fake. How I should use a pirate flag on my profiles. They have suggested the pirate party, the pirate party, how the pirate party is gonna come, and I should, my profile, I should use the pictures, little pictures with a skull, with a skeleton, and with a pirate flag, you know. And why would I do that? Well, because they have told me, because the pirates are very brave and they fight until the last, you know. That's why you should use that pirate flag on your profiles, on your pictures, and so on. Not to fail to mention how also they have instructed me how the intensified use of electromagnetic weapons against you will cause me burning sensations all over my body, and I will be not capable to use the computer any longer. Therefore, I will be my computer use would be consequently reduced daily because of the effect of electromagnetic fields on me and stuff like that. Sheer lunacy. They have actually instructed me in writing stuff like this. Yeah, and it's good to know who the real gangsters, who the real criminals are, who is creating it all. Not only the crime that I have described as when taken in consideration school violence, shootings and stuff like that, but on general crime, on general 9/11, all that stuff, which was created on behalf of multiculturalism, terrorism. And it's no wonder that situation have repeated in Norway with the same purpose. And it was created to greatly, and I'm going to say greatly, accuse people of suffering, to compel them in genocide, to deprive them of work, to deprive them of lodging, deprive them of every right in their life, and accuse them of bipolar disease, schizophrenia, and so on. That was greatly created for that purpose. But yeah, this is one of the purposes why they have created gangsters. Nobody's suffering from any depression. Nobody's suffering from anything else than from what they have created against me. The 40 years of genocide is just not really acceptable